When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it for all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. Listen, Charles Robinson always leans on me and tells me I do not promote myself enough. So, bam, there you have it, Charles. I am Black Wall Street 2021. We're going to the history of Oklahoma's Black Wall Street. This is something you don't know. Many people know the story of Tulsa, but how did those people get there? Where did they come from? And I'll tell you one answer. They were not slaves. They were free. And they were black. And they were proud. And they were innovative. Pick up a copy. I Am Black Wall Street 2021. 2015, Unapologetically Black. Autobiographical in nature. We talk about political economy, the interrelationship of politics and economics. Next event coming up is Black Wall Street Media Edition, where honorees include Kwesi Mfume, Sandy Mallory, and Big Jim from WEAA. That'll be next Wednesday. And then we also have the Sandtown community meeting next Tuesday. So we've got a busy week coming up. This is Morgan's homecoming. But without further ado, we're going to get to today's guest. By the way, if you want to buy me a coffee, you like the show, there you go. Buy me a coffee. Without further ado, we're going to bring up today's guest. We've brought you Martin Mitchell in the past. We've brought you Richard Deshae Elliott. We've brought you Colin Bird. Today, we have the Reverend Kenneth Clark. How are you, sir?
I am doing fine and phenomenal. Praying for our beloved, illustrious alumni, Morgan State University.
What happened?
There was a shooting that occurred. 5 people got injured on campus yesterday.
Was it a Morgan student responsible?
They have not said.
So
It's
we
all
can,
slippery slope because, anytime something happens at Morgan, if it happens on campus, they don't like to say that it happened on campus. They always say around or surrounding the campus.
we understand. Let me tell you something. I remember an incident happened at Johns Hopkins. Black guy breaks into somebody's crib. 2 students. The Johns Hopkins student stabbed him with a sword. and then proceeded to cut his arm off with the sword, which was murder. And they let him walk. We know these people in Baltimore, but nonetheless, we're going to get to you and what you are about. So we see the unique spelling of Rev-Ren. What is that all about? Left out of E, by the way.
Oh, you know, I've been having some technical issues with social media and typing. You know, I saw your
You
beginning.
started to say something, then you stopped. I'm trying to follow you here.
Can you hear me?
You started to explain it, then you stopped.
Oh, yeah, I said I was having issues with the typing. It was telling me I couldn't add any more letters when I was typing in. So,
Well, are you a reverend?
yes,
You're an ordained minister,
yes.
and you're also a doctor. What are you a doctor of?
I have my honorary doctorate in divinity, Christian divinity.
Okay. Reverend Doctor. Which one? So you're both of them.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And so what do you reverend and doctor about?
Well, really, I'm non-traditional, unorthodox.
Clearly.
I have been given the name Reverend of Justice because just from my perspective, when I look at the ministry of Jesus, he was the best advocate. He was the best activist there ever was. You know, he stood for justice. He advocated for the poor, you know, and he really spoke truth to power, you know, and that is what I believe that God has called me in, especially for in the 21st century, this being the year after George Floyd and you know the awakening of the Freddie Gray riots, and you know I think that there needs to be a responsibility of the ecclesiastical church to really start bridging the gap, start getting out there with the people, advocating with the people, hear the concerns, hear the, you know, the cries of the oppression of this systematic institutional racism that is still unfortunately alive and well. You know,
So, okay, tell me more. I mean, don't make this like pulling teeth, Kenneth. I've seen you be very loquacious, and now you're making me work. And you know,
well, I mean,
I
so
don't
like,
appreciate that, Kenneth. I want you to spit out your dissertation so that we can get on
well,
to the next thing.
you know, we no, but on the real, we need to stand for truth. We need to stand for justice. We need to stand in the gap. We need to be with the people. We need to come out the four walls of the church. We
And you
need
say
to
we, you mean we, the clergy?
we, the clergy, those of the the Christian faith, you know, us Baptists, Pentecostals, and whatnot. You know, we're seeing that spiritual lack is missing within the community. You know, we for every liquor store, there's a church on the corner. We had too many shootouts and whatnot, and a lot of these shootouts and shootings and killings and the onslaught of the war on drugs and the violence and whatnot. We have churches right in the midst of these communities, and there is no connection. Better yet, there's not even a connection with the churches that are literally 7, 8 blocks next door to each other. Nobody knows who is who. You know,
Where do you live, Kenneth?
In Prince George's County, Maryland.
And you frequent Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm a DMV advocate. I do a lot of advocacy across the region, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I was born in Arlington, Virginia. And one of my pet peeves for Virginia is I want to reform the foster care system in Virginia, because I feel like there is a lot of mishaps that are having in that system. We have a lot of individuals who I was in that VA system, um,
You were a
where
foster child?
yes, yes, it's called kinder foster care, where that is like the next of kin. Like if you have a family member or somebody where the state can't find somebody to take care of the child, then they look for within that within their next blood kin to be the one to become the foster parent. But what's happening within that foster care is that there's a lack of oversight, so that social workers are not really engaged or involved in the transitional process when youth and teens get to that adult age, and where the guardians, the parents want to kick the kids out by the time that they're 18 years of age, and they kick them out with not really having much supportive services so that they can be, live successfully, transition successfully as an adult. And so in my case, you know, I experienced homelessness, for over 15 years, battling between trying to get from
15 years. You only look like you like 20.
I just turned 36 this year.
So almost half of your life was homeless.
Yeah, dealing with instability, trying to, because I was not brought up with education, did not go to public school. I was taught how to read and write, but I didn't really have anything to show that I could read or write on a competency high school equivalency. So I had to literally start from the very basics. I got into an adult
At what age?
starting at the age of 18.
You didn't learn how to read until you were 18.
Well, I that's all I knew how to do was read and write. That's it. But as far as like having a full, well-rounded high school equivalency, I didn't have that. Like if Walmart asked you for your high school diploma, what could I show them? I mean, the only thing I could tell them is I knew how to read and write. If I wanted to get into the corporate world, which I did endeavor, with human resources and whatnot, these were the things that they asked for: high school diploma or high school transcript, to show that I had a basic education. You
So how
know,
did you navigate?
so I was able to get into, after many years of finding a transitional program. I was in that transitional housing program called the Robert J. Fuller Transitional House, which was located in Charles County, Maryland. Um, and I stood there for about good 3 to 4 years. Um, and they require that you take a life skills class. They require that you go to school or you're involved in some type of vocational training. You follow the rules of the house. So if they have a life skills uh, course, you have to go. It's mandatory that you go. So you learn how to be able to balance at that time, it was a checkbook. We don't really use checkbooks now. Everything's electronic now. But you learn life skills. You learn to wash your clothes, laundry, separate your colors from your dark clothes. You had chores there where you took the trash out, you made the bed, you vacuumed the floor, you cleaned the toilet, you know, teaching you those skill sets so that when you're now living independently, you now have something to be able to know how to navigate and move and be able to have a successful living.
What
So
kept you out of the penitentiary, Kenneth?
God and a beloved angel named Sylvia, not Curl, who I believe was a God sent angel, because I was really someone, I was pissed. I was mad. I was full of anger. going through abandonment, trying to find my identity, trying to find my purpose,
What about your parents?
My biological mother, she is deceased. Not really sure who my biological father is, because there was so many things that was kept quiet. I heard so many different things about, oh, well, your mother was this and your mother was that. Your mother was crazy. She had this issue. She had that issue. There wasn't really a connecting or bond. I had a chance to see after I had turned 18 years of age. I want to say when I just turned 23, I had the pleasure of seeing my mother for about a good 30 days before she transitioned. And
tell me about that.
It was a little bit different because I didn't really have that connection, because that's one of the things that the guardians did. They didn't allow me to have a relationship with my biological mother. And of course I thought that was unfair, but that is what they do. You know what I'm saying? I had to abide by their rules, what they say. If they say, hey, that's not what they want, I didn't have like a phone number. I didn't have, I didn't have that ability to get that contact. So when I was put out, I'm a legal adult. Law Commonwealth said, you 18 years of age, you an adult. So I had that leisure and pleasure of just searching the internet, researching and reaching out to this person and reaching out to that person. And then, once the powers that be, everything connected, then I formed a relationship. And yeah, she was sick. She was going through some real serious health challenges. She had some high blood pressure and insulin, and she just had a lot of different various health challenges. And so,
were you able to find the rest of your family?
Yes,
like
I
your
do
grandmother, your grandfather.
Nah, not grandmother, not grandfather.
They got ancestry.com. You pay for that for a month or so, and you can.
So some of the family I have made contact with. It is a little bit estranged, again, because when you in that position of the foster care, it's so many things that transpire, and so many seeds of discord got sown, about who my mother was and how she behaved. And, I was pretty much like, the ousted, child. You better be glad I took you in. It wasn't a situation
You had
where
a lot of that guilt.
Yeah,
they try to throw guilt on you.
Yeah,
but you're a grown man now.
Yeah. So I'm in the process of doing some other things. I'm working on a book.
I was wondering where the book is.
Yeah, I'm in the process. It's going to be called God's Testimony. Because
hold on, let me tell you something. Let me help you out. Before you go any further, you got to copyright your title.
Yeah.
Before you tell anyone.
I got that. It's been copyrighted.
All right. Because people steal.
Yeah. Heavily.
If you're writing a book, do not tell anybody, nobody, the name of it until you've copywritten it. Because people steal. It could be the person sleeping next to you, your spouse, and they slip up and mention it to the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get into this book. So what about on your dad's side? Was that easier to research? Who he was, who your great granddaddy was, where did he come from? Did he come from Virginia?
So it's a lot of confusion there as far as like who my biological father is because it has been alluded to me that There is somebody that I have talked to.
Just DNA test them. That's all.
Yeah, but if he don't commit to it, I can't. It, you know.
Did you look at the people around him? Did you see similarities in your facial features and what have you?
Some people it's crazy. I don't really know what to think because some people say he look like you, and then other people say, daggone right, he don't look like you. So it's just, when you just it's just, when I try to approach the situation.
Have you ever signed up for Ancestry.com? And I'm not even an advocate for them people, but they got some of the basics down.
Yeah. Well,
and something else. At this juncture, you should be able to look at your court records, correct?
Well, let's talk about that. This is why I was talking about reforming foster care in Virginia, because if they seal a lot of information, it's hard for you to be able to go back and get that information. And that is one of the issues that I've been battling within the Commonwealth State, because the Commonwealth State make their own laws. And, and it's
aren't you into politics?
I am.
You know any judges?
I do know.
It's time to get to know some judges, some lawyers, and some politicians, as well as some people inside the foster care system to get you the information you so need. There's a young lady who is a part of our network, Monique, Monique. So her name is Monique, but she threw the S on it. She refers to herself as unknown. But after many years of searching, and she's a little older than 36. So she went longer. But after a lot of searching, she was able to actually reconnect with her siblings, whom she hadn't seen since she was a toddler.
Well, see, the thing about me,
stories of hope, okay? Just so you know, if that's what you need.
I do have a connection with my siblings. I think the thing that I want to tie the deal with, I was inspired by, Kurt Franklin. The story that just came out where he was actually lied to about whom his father was, and so the guy that he, built a relationship.
Why was he lied to?
Because of his mother. His
Did
mother
she have a good reason to lie to him?
I wouldn't say so. Because I feel like when you're an adult, like this is my whole thing.
I've heard this story. You've heard this story many, many times. She didn't just lie for no reason. Something happened.
Yeah.
And she never went back to that decision to say, I'm older now, I'm more mature now. That probably wasn't the best way to handle it. Let me woman up and help this child. But you got to understand this. There may be some embarrassment, or she may not have grown. There's a reason for it. And I was sharing with a brother yesterday. Sisters want to say it's brothers. Brothers want to say it's sisters. Stop. It's all of us. We've all contributed to the madness. Now let us all contribute to the goodness. But you're not going to win going in pointing fingers. Because every time we point a finger, there's three coming back at me. Doni, what didn't you do? Doni, you forgot that you did this. Same with our sisters. He this, he that. You both laid down. You both made the baby. Now you both raised the baby. And let's put this stuff from sometimes 25, 35 years ago. And people still walking around with that pain. So we spent half of the show talking about the groundwork. You've laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
Now tell me, you told me about the test. Now, preacher, I need you to tell me about the testimony. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get off the screen. I'm gonna let you tell me the other side, because I know somewhere deep in that brain of yours, deep down in that spirit of yours, just like you uniquely spelled Reverend and Doctor, that there's something brighter on the other side.
Well, I have really been most successful. I get a pride and joy when I'm able to talk to other youth, and yes, even some other young adults who talked about their experiences within the foster care system, the different trials and tribulations, the things that you know that they're working to navigate. Um, and one of the beautiful things is the thing that kept me sanity. When you asked me, how is it that I avoided the penitentiary, and that's because
Yeah, because you was on your way. I imagine you ain't really give me details, but I'm enough from the streets to know what's gonna happen.
right.
You
And
going
see,
left or you going right?
I just happened to the beloved angel, and she don't mind me using her name because that's who she is. She is, even though I didn't have my biological mother, she became my biological mother. She didn't take no jump. She didn't take no jump. She calls me to today like, hey, you preaching? You going to church? You and your work? To make sure that, hey, this is what I installed for me. And she said, I told you, you didn't understand when you was going through. You was hurt. You was bitter. You was angry.
You making me sad. I need a song, preacher, because you had to get on you. You say you Baptist. I'm gonna need a song. You mentioned Kirk
uh,
Franklin. What's your song?
I
I got
like
people
I
out
like
here listening to
I
this,
like
and they
stomp.
need some strength.
I like We Have Overcome by the
Well,
Blood
sing
of the
it. Let
Lamb.
me hear a version.
Uh, I'm not a singer. I don't want to
Oh,
embarrass
there
myself.
you go. Every Christian is
I
soul winner for Christ. Lord, help me
I
to
take
become a
I
soul
take
winner.
my SoundCloud on on Instagram, and I pull it up, and I just I like Stomp. You Want a Revolution? Well, because I feel like my life was revolutionized. He took the pain and turned it into gladness. You know what I'm saying? And I always talk about the beauty of the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. The metamorphosis, the how it transcends. When it's in that cocoon, it looks ugly. You're like, man, that thing looks ugly. But in the midst of it being in the cocoon, it's dark. It's grayish. It's got this little weird, funny looking color. But it's forming into something, blossoming into something beautiful that you and I often go see at the Smithsonian Museum when we go to the butterfly exhibit, and we see the 2,000 of these dynamic, diverse, uh, vibrant, beautiful butterflies. So for me, God sent and said, "Listen, yeah, this happened. You was rejected like Joseph in the Bible. Yes, you had family that did not like you, like Joseph in the Bible. You was ousted. Yeah, you
Hell,
was
I don't
kicked.
like some of them either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And the beautiful thing I want to say, Mr. Don, is that one of the things that really helped me, and I know this is kind of taboo in the community, but it is what it is. What really helped me to overcome, and of course, I was forced by my doctor. As you know, you gotta. When I was in a transitional program, they tell you have to get a medical screening. Period. You got to get medical screening. You got to get medical screening. And when I went, because I had never been to the doctor. That was one of the things. I was less than 50 pounds at the age of 18. I was that guy that you probably would have been like, you seen on the commercial, feed the children. Literally, I was that. I was literally that individual. Literally that individual. And the doctor says, you know what? It's a miracle. Matter of fact, John Hopkins was the hospital that actually did an actual intake on me, and the doctor said, you know what, we gotta make sure you get connected with some rehabilitative services. You need to get a therapist, and in the midst, let me tell you what the therapist did, because it took a while for her to crack this shell for me to open up and be transparent, open up with her, because as men, we're not taught how to express our emotions or navigate our emotions, even if we do it in a healthy way or non-healthy
How
way.
you gonna be 50 pounds, man? That's just numerically impossible.
Oh no, Miss Sylvia, not Carol. She's in this group, and she will attest to you. You can reach out to her, and she will tell you that literally the doctors were like, we're looking at somebody that's a miracle. Literally.
How are you 50 pounds? How tall are you?
I am 5'7".
50 pounds don't even sound possible.
Oh, trust me, I could barely. I would my weight, my
What
my
was
weight
wrong? You ain't want to eat?
royalty. No, it wasn't that I didn't want to eat. I was being starved. I was malnourished. Hence why I told you from the beginning that I wanted to reform foster care, because I feel like if we
How
have,
could they keep doing that?
how could they? It's a lot of things that shouldn't happen. You ever heard of the Mendez brothers? Ever heard of the Mendez brothers? The brothers that once when they
Oh, the one that killed their parents.
yeah, that happened because of how they were treated. So hence why I said, when I spoke for I spoke in VA, I spoke in DC, and last recent I spoke at the Maryland General Assembly. Then my question was this: I said, watch this, you're gonna figure out how to transition. The law enforcement is being put into situations that social workers should be able to be called and be administered to aid and help individuals that are impacted. We can't get social workers the way that they are because there's more constraints, more things being put into place for them to become a social worker. It takes about a little less than 130 some odd days for an individual to become a police officer, but it takes about 8+ years for someone to become a social worker. Why is that? But we're putting law enforcement into situations, a social work climate that should not be. Police need to police and not be the social worker. We got to change that. But what happened is, when social workers are either overworked or they're not provided with the proper tools, they can't function or be able to aid the families that really need to be helped. This past session, I had the ability to speak with Delegate C.T. Wilson. For those that don't know, Delegate C.T. Wilson is also a foster care child.
See,
And
Anthony
me,
Meeks went through some situation, if I'm not mistaken.
oh wow,
If I'm not mistaken, I don't trying to, but I know he was Baltimore, Prince George's. He's seen a thing or two. Do you know Reverend Muse?
I have heard, yeah. I think the was the youth center that he had called Project? Was it called Project? Something Project Youth or something like that. That he
look him up. See Anthony Muse.
Yeah. And CT Wilson, we talked about it, and he was like, I agree with you wholeheartedly that we need to reform it. How would I reform
You're saying we need to reform. We've talked about this. You alluded to that. So what have you done?
So I am where.
And what do you seek to do? You want a complete overhaul? Okay, well that's you might want to break this down bit by bit. Have you come up with a strategy, or is there something specific that you want? Because it seems like that is a subject that few people care about.
Well, I started off broke it up into two parts, A and B. A is that we need to put more effort and focus on HBCUs to actually fund the social work programs, so that we can get social workers more into the communities. That's one thing.
Well,
And the second,
so you got Bowie State right there where you are.
yeah, I have I've spoken with uh what's his name, Dr.
So you talk with
Michelle.
someone at Bowie.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And he's working on what do you call it, the uh I forget what it's called. It's I don't want to say analytical research, but it's not analysis.
So he's doing some type of study.
Yeah, he's doing some type of studying to show that how the structure of family development is changed by having social workers that are integrated into the community and being able to access what the needs are, because mental health, unfortunately, is an issue that needs to be
Okay, but
tackled.
there are other partners, Kenneth. I would think Aisha Braveboy, the state's attorney, might be. I'm foreseeing some type of conference where you have this Bowie professor, you have an Aisha Braveboy, you have somebody from the Prince George's County foster care system. You have plenty of foster care alumni. And I'm sure
Well,
there's some organizations, not just there, but here in Baltimore, that would participate. Maybe it's time for you to call together a conference on foster care, Reverend Doctor.
yeah. So I will say this. I have connected with Morgan State, um, because I'll be honest with you, it's been a lot more of a discussion about the foster care system in Baltimore than opposed than as it is in Prince George's County.
Why?
Because the climate is a lot different, as far as like there's a high concentration. Like Morgan has the social work program there.
But Prince George's has more people.
Right now, Prince George's County is not is being more political than actually trying to come up with actual.
We ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Trust me, you got a really large foster care population with alumni there in Prince George's. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Don't fall for the okie doke. And don't let anybody cause you to fall for the okie doke.
Right.
Baltimore County, Prince George's County. Maybe you do the joint in Columbia, halfway between. But Prince George's has plenty of people in the foster care and who have come through the foster care system. Trust that. Here's a question I have for you. You mentioned DMV. My understanding is that Baltimore is not considered a part of the DMV. Is that true?
I have heard that. I've heard that. And
Because I don't want you to start saying something on this show and then I mess around and repeat it. And like, you from Baltimore, you ain't DMV. I said, well, I spent a lot of time in Prince George's and did a lot of work in Prince George's, so I can say what I want to say. But
well, I have lived in both. I was actually in a transitional program called Cold Blue, which is right there in downtown. Cold Blue. I was there before they shut Cold Blue down. They transitioned me over to where Sojourner Douglas College used to be, which is called the Baltimore Rescue Mission. So I've lived there. That's right across from.
It's about almost like jail, ain't it?
Yeah. So once I got out of there, I actually met a good caseworker. She was from City Steps, and she actually helped me to find a transitional program, in which that's how I ended up getting connected with the Robert J. Fuller Transitional House, was because the Baltimore Rescue Mission, it was some things that occurred there that I was there, and she was like, no. Let me see what I can do.
And I'm not putting down the mission. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you go into some of these places, it can be murderous.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not putting any particular mission on Front Street, but I've heard stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's true. And and I have been a good success story about what homeless transitional programs look like, because for someone who has such a limited scope of opportunity, I was able to get the knowledge, the training, and to be able to be at where I'm at today. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you today?
Right now, I'm self-sufficient. Right now, I'm doing great things. Right now, I'm going to come out with a movie.
To God be the glory.
Yeah,
you're in your own place.
Yes, I'm in my own place.
You got a roof over your head.
I got a roof over my head.
You have running water.
Food.
Looks like you got electricity, because you can't come on this show if you ain't got running water, electricity, and some type of internet connection.
Yeah,
that's a pretty paint job. You can't paint up an abandonmenium like that.
Yeah, I got some of that nice coffee you got, right here in this orange, in this cup, so God has been good. So like I make my every day that I wake up.
Some young people need to hear you say that. Some young people who are in the foster care system right now who are dealing with that, because like you said, at 18, you kicked out the door without a plan, without a support system. What is your message of hope to a young person in that situation that you were in half of your life ago?
So my message to them is this. Don't be so mean that you miss the good things that are around you. And I had learned this myself, because I was so hard. I was so mean. Because I was going through. It just is what it is. And I get it. I understand it. But don't be so bitter, because what'll happen is there are God sent people and great things that are there to aid and support you. But if you don't pause and breathe in and breathe out, you're gonna miss how your life can turn around for the greater good.
There was a man on the roof in a flood, and he had the ultimate faith in God. You heard this story before. And the water's rising, and he's just looking up to God. So they said the man in the speedboat over there to the man on the roof, "Hey, jump in the speedboat. You about to drown." "No, go on. I'm waiting on God."
Mm-hmm.
Then they sent a scuba dive over there. "Hey, come on, dummy. I got an oxygen mask. Let's get you on up out of here before you drown." No, I'm waiting on God." Then they sent the helicopter. "Hey, dummy," because he was a big dummy. "Get on the ladder. We would fly you on out of this flood." No, I'm waiting on God." And he died. And he went before the pearly gates. And he's like, "God, you know the story. What's the story? Why didn't you save me?"
And he said, "You dummy. I sent this person.
I sent you up 3 times.
Yeah, and you took,
stuck on stupid."
Yep. And that's so it's so enriching, because I had to learn that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you hurt, men, like I said, because we build that wall. And I'll be honest with you, I'm in the situation that I was coming in. I had a few people that said, "Oh, we're gonna help you, we're gonna get you." So I already had that wall of, I don't even want to hear it, because you just been let down. You know what I'm saying? So when we just got to be careful that we don't set that wall up to where we are blocking our own blessing. And it can happen because of pride. You know what I mean? We men. You get what I'm saying?
Women
I get
too,
it.
brother. Women too. I'm not sure if they are as much ego as they are emotion. Whatever the case, my mother said it like this: be nice. Some of the most profound instructions I've ever gotten were real simple. Learn so you can earn. Be nice. Here go one for you. God don't like ugly and could care less for beauty. Well, my mother might have worked for the foster care system, because I'm going to tell you, all my life, she said three things to you. You ready? She said, at 18, you leaving.
Yep.
I was 14. I hear you. 15. Why she keeps saying it? 16. She's still saying it. 17. I was ready to go. But I did have some preparation. I had a great mom. One was 18, you're leaving. Number two, don't bring no babies in here in the meantime. And number three was to own your own house. But thank God that you did get a chance to meet your mom. And God willing, you'll meet whoever else you want to meet, whoever else you need to meet. That God is awesome. That God can do anything, because it's not even about who we come from. We want to also find out people before them. There are people who did not grow up in the foster care system and don't know who their ancestors are. Because I hear a young rapper saying, I came from the bottom. How you know you come from the bottom? Did you look up your family tree? It might be an inventor up there. Somebody might have lied to you, fool. Your granddaddy might have been a millionaire. But if we only listen to some idiot's version of who we are, and they don't even know who they are, that's why I study Black history so much. They would tell us that we came to this country in the bottom of slave ships, and I will tell you they are a lie. I will tell you the first blacks on these shores were freemen, were generals, were conquerors, conquistadors even, Egyptians even. Everything they ever told you about your people's history in this country is a lie. So I'm not surprised that they would lie to us individually. What else you want to share with them, Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clark?
Well, you asked one thing about what was some of the things that I was doing as far, and I want to put this out there. So when I talked to Delegate C.T. Wilson, one of the things that I was suggesting that we have a legislation and policy, because now what I'm about to say, I'm not generalizing, okay? Because there are I have heard some success stories and seen some success stories of those who were in the foster care system, right? So I don't want people saying, "Oh, he's just saying all people are bad." That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the ones that happen to get left behind a little bit and get neglected, as in my case. So, needless to say, we're working on depending on how your adoption is done, if it's done through a private agency or if it's done through the state, you get a portion of money that is supposed to be used toward the child. So in my case, I saw the checks. I happened to see the checks of what my foster parents were getting, and we talking at least $4,500. Okay, what I have suggested was we have a policy that says at least 20 or 30% of that money will be mandatory. That there will be a bank account set up that when that child turns of age of 18 or whatever the rule is of that state, that there will be something that individual can, when they hit that age, they can now use that money if they want to go to Job Corps, if they want to go to college or whatnot, that would be there to aid them. Because I had to go up the ranks a little bit. I had to work at McDonald's. I had to work at Golden Corral. I had to work at the car wash. I had to, to go all these different
Now,
things.
all of those are good things. But what I think I hear you saying is some foster parents take the money and don't invest it in the child like they could, like they should.
Yeah.
Well, let me share this with you, man. Karma is real. Karma is real.
That's true.
How you treat people the way you want to be treated.
That's the golden rule. That's the golden rule according to the Bible. It said,
treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Because we all get our turn.
Yeah.
People think it don't happen, but everybody get a turn. This person that was way up there and high and mighty, looking down their nose, they might need you just to give them a cup of water. Be careful how you treat people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so proud of you, young man. You have reason to be angry. But until hearing your story, I would have never known, because I see a bright countenance about you.
Well, I listen to the wisdom from, positive role models like yourself.
But you're 36, and I want you to consider going back and getting that PhD. Matter of fact, I'm starting my journey. Well, I've already started it, but technically I plan to start as soon as this master's program. So hell, maybe even in the summer. But I want you to get that PhD. Honorary is nice, but I want you to get an earned one. And you're young enough to do it and not skip a beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm pushing hard for this movie to come out.
You didn't go through all of this for something small. We're going to need to see some big glory here.
Yeah.
And you had to pull together those entities that should know each other. When's the last time there's been a foster care alumni event?
That is you're right. That is true. That is
start right there in Prince George's County. Booker T. Washington said, cast your bucket right there where you are. You got roots in Baltimore. There are groups in Baltimore. And maybe even form a statewide network, a DMV network of foster care. And it may grow regionally and nationally. I like that you're looking at what you can do, not what you can't do.
Yeah, that's what Sylvia, my godmother, Sylvia Not Curl, she looked at me from day one. She said, we're not looking at what you can't. We're looking at what you can.
Hey, I want you to, we're going to end this thing. I have a second hour to fill in. 10 o'clock, we got a 10 o'clock show. Dr. George Alvarez. But before we go, would you lead us in prayer for the brothers and sisters in the foster care system? Would you do that for us?
Yes.
Before we get there, was there anything else that you didn't say that you wanted to cover? I'll just give you the floor.
I just want to say, just be kind and be gentle. And, be kind and be gentle. And give, I would say, the guardians, give the youth a chance. Just give them a chance. And let's admit, you didn't always do everything right yourself. To be honest, some of what we're seeing is a reflection of some of the things that you have done. I say it like this. We are products of our environment. And if we want to change the culture and the climate, then we got to first look at ourselves. I wake up every morning and I ask God, I said, God, show me how that I can become a better me so that I can help somebody else. I literally live my day like this every day. I say, God, bless me so that I can bless somebody else. And it's not always financially. It could be a smile. It could be a hug. It could be encouragement. Money is good, but having peace, that's just as good as money too.
Some people
So
got money and they ain't happy.
That part.
We got all of the financial accoutrements of success and still miserable. I don't know what the real deal is with Jeffrey Epstein, but he was a billionaire. And they found him in a jail cell with a rope around his neck. That's what they said. Because he started listing all of them presidents that went to that freak island. Come on, man, with the prayer, man. We got to go.
Father, in the name of Jesus.
You are a preacher. Them preachers always be taking. Let me tell you something. You be a cut off preacher. You better get to it.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this broadcast right here, God. I pray that something was said and shared that it would uplift them, God. God, I pray for every individual that's in the foster care system, God, the children, the youth, God. Strengthen them, encourage them, God. Give the wisdom and understanding to all of the guardians, the foster parents, those that have leadership over the youth and children, God. Strengthen them. Bless them from the top of their head to the very soles of their feet, God. God, I ask that you will encourage them, fill their hearts and minds up with love, joy, peace, and a sound mind. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
We fall down,
But
we get up.
We
Never would have made it.
Yes.
Never would have made it.
Yes.
I'll tell you a song that was on my heart this morning. I can never repay you, Lord, for what you've done for me, how you loosed my shackles and you set me free. How you made a way out of no way, turn my darkness into day. Lord have mercy. You don't know what I'm talking about. You gonna get us started for church up in here. Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clark, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Stay tuned. We'll be back at 10 o'clock for Dr. George Alvarez. Good morning, world.